So after the emotional roller coaster that was Star by Star, we continue off where we left off with Dark Journey, which chronicles Jaina Solo going through the emotions of devastation by the loss of Anakin Solo, her younger brother, and the capture of Jason Solo by the Yuuzhan Vong. Sorry. Taking place just after Star by Star, Jaina Solo and the rest of the survivors of the Jedi Strike Team, specifically Lobaka, Zeke, Anner, Tenel Kai, Talia, Tilek, Elimina, and Tezar, escaped the Uzumong world ship they were sent to in order to destroy the Voxen Queen by escaping an Executor's Nominar's ship, the Kistar. Along the way, Jaina's oldest brother was captured, like I said, by the Vong, and his execution is delayed until Jaina could be kidnapped, due to how much the Vong take it seriously for the twins to fight to the death in their culture. The survivors take the body of Anakin Solo so he can be given a proper Jedi funeral. Meanwhile, back on Coruscant, while this is all going on, Coruscant is falling apart to the Yuuzhan Vong Empire, and the New Republic's getting their ass kicked. Kip Durant's X-Wing Squadron and the Kistar join the fray, and when the battle is lost to the New Republic, the survivors of that battle, including Kip, Han, Leia, Luke, and Mara Jade, along with Ben, all escape the captured New Republic capital. So, like I said, it's all hell from here at this point. The survivors from the battle escaped to the Hapes cluster, which lost its major fleet because of Thrak and Sal Solo's arrogance and stupidity, and we all know how that worked out, and is still barely recovering. The cluster is now opening itself to refugees in the Yuuzhan Vong War and on Hapes itself. Prince Alsolder, I think, Elistor, has held several assassination attempts on him has had several assassination attempts on him due to his leading of their loss at Fondor. Queen Tenel Dejol hates is losing her will to live because of the loss of her unborn child during the battle, who died of a miscarriage. Tragic. Like, really tragic. And the former Queen Mother, Tara Chum, is seeking a replacement for her. As for the survivors of the strike team, they all feel through the forest that Jason Solar is now dead from the Yuuzhan Vong, which is clearly not the case, except for Leia, who is certain Jason is still alive, and Jaina, who also strangely did not feel her twin's death. But Jaina believes that because of her anger and rage over Anakin's death had distracted her sense of Jason. Though she now cares very little for the dark side, her reasoning is that because the Jedi and the New Republic dissented during the war, she finds that this caused very little action in comparison to what all the Jedi and the Republic could have done had they not, in James' opinion, had nonsense arguments over the matters of the war. Specifically, Jaina is blaming everybody and she's going through the 5 stages of grief. That we can obviously tell. So Jaina finally begins to understand the Yuuzhan ship that she stole with Lobaka and contacts the War Master Vong Law of the Yuuzhan, and she discovers the ship's nature. She realizes it is in tribute to Yun Hala, the trickster goddess of the Vong, since no one worships Yun Hala. In an attempt to mock the Vong, Jaina renames the ship the Trickster after the goddess's nature, and how Eminence Hanan Kalila relates her deceptive talents to Yunhara. Uh, uh, like, I'm not good at pronouncing these Star Wars names half the time, so bear with me. This would be considered blasphemy among the Yuuzhan Vong's culture if Hanar took this consideration seriously, and may even lead to his dishonorable execution. When the trickster finally arrives on Hapes, Anakin is cremated, and Jane and Lobaka begin to find ways to scramble the trickster's location, so the Yuuzhan don't track them. And the previous Queen Mother begins to see how much of a warrior Jaina is, plans to have Jaina marry a soldier so she can lead Hapes to a war against the Yuuzhan Vong. Bad mistake, because one, specifically how she does attempt to do this, and also didn't over half your fleet get destroyed and you're barely recovering whatsoever? Since the previous leader is too weak to lead Hades into the war against the Yuuzhan Vong, and Chun's own granddaughter, Tenel Kai, pledges her allegiance more to the Jedi than to Hades, Jaina seems to be a proper candidate for the Queen Mother of Hades. During all this, Jagged Fell of the Chiss fleet arrived to Hapes to support the New Republic after his failure at the Battle of Ithor early in the war. Kip Duran becomes a member of Jagged's fleet, and in order to understand the war, Jaina becomes Kip's apprentice despite the how things turned out before the fall of Coruscant. In the end, the Queen Mother dies from poisoning thanks to the previous Queen Mother's machinations, and despite the former Queen Mother's attempts, Jaina refuses to become the next Queen Mother of Hapes, and Tenel Kai becomes the new queen in her place after her. So she severed her ties with the Jedi to an extent and decides to become the new Queen Mother. And Jaina attempts at scrambling the trickster's location, succeeds in defeating the Vong twice when Hapes is pitted against them, and even results in Kali La committing suicide out of humiliation. So this is half the length of the Star by Star novel, and many people compare it to Star by Star. Like, it's hard to follow up from that, so I say they did the best they could. It was really hard to follow up from such an epic dark chapter in the New Jedi Order series that Star by Star was, so you had to believe that, well, they tried the best they could, but ultimately, yeah. This mostly was focusing on Jaina Solo specifically, and like they would deal with Anakin Solo and Jason Solo to an extent, specifically what's happening to them. Like Anakin Solo's dead, Jason Solo's captured. There's dissension brewing within with Jaina's dark side leaking out, um, and now starts to have some dissension with Luke and the others. So it's just getting very bad. The situation's just out of control, and once more they start building up more of the falling point in the storyline where you start to feel doubt. Like, can they really win this war? Like, are they gonna win? Are they gonna lose? Like, we don't know what's gonna happen. It's despair all around, and all this is happening. There's not really much behind the scenes going on, so yeah, there's not really much of behind the scenes regarding this, so nothing really much is happening. So nothing really big happens behind the scenes, so I got really nothing much to talk about other than the plot, and well, that's pretty much it. This was Neo Reality Entertainment. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate. Stay tuned for more.